7 swing states, welcome back to another video. Today we are talking about something pretty incredible. Elon Musk's last week until he inevitably comes back a week later to keep saving the world. Anyway, Elon Musk is leaving Doge. A lot of people are like, wow, Elon's leaving. Trump fired him. This is the end of an era. It's so over. It's so over. They're breaking up. Leftists are frothing at the mouth. The libtards of the world have come together to cry, kick, and scream that Elon Musk was fired because they're all retarded and like pushing false narratives. Elon Musk came into work for 130 days for Doge. All right. His contract was he would work for 130 days to get Doge up and running, and then he would leave it in somebody else's hands. Because let's be real, Elon Musk, richest man in the world, owns like 5 companies. Bro doesn't want to work for free for the government forever, and I have nothing but respect for that. So bro came in for no money, saved the country. All right, whatever. Maybe that's hyperbole, but I don't care because it'll piss somebody off. People bombed his stuff, all right? Actually terrorized his warehouses, destroyed his cars, blew up his factories, and bro literally did it for the sake of the people. I have nothing but respect for what Elon Musk did for the country, even if he cheated at a video game at some point. So, we are going to keep pissing off people by glazing this man a little bit, it seems. But I want to show you someone who's not glazing Elon Musk. All right, so this is a incredibly weirdly saturated video of Elon Musk saying Elon Musk tripping balls in the White House, and Hasan Piker, everyone's favorite, largest leftist political streamer, had this to say. This man is unraveling in front of our eyes. The projection, the cope. The state must seize his assets and redistribute it among the workers that generate the value. Bro is living in fucking Delulu land. I don't know who is taking this motherfucker seriously. He is like an absolute loser. It's unbelievable. Like, how are you this level of actually retarded? He's a communist with a Gucci bag, got his product kicks, gotta have his swag. That's our guy. That's Hamas Piker, supporter of terrorists and pro, I guess, stealing money from rich people, even though he's fucking rich. But anywho, I wanted to get into this, their final conversation, their final Elon Musk, Donald Trump, dynamic duoing it. They're going up against the reporters, and we're gonna have a good time with this one.
Fantastic job. He didn't need this. He didn't need it. And we find out government's a little nasty on occasion. Hello, Peter.
Yeah. Hello, President Trump.
Government's a little bit nasty, Peter. You haven't noticed
Yeah,
that.
government's your shit.
You've had a charmed life, right?
Hot take, I don't like any governments. None of them. I don't think there's a single government I like. I rate governments, all right? I rate governments based on the ones I hate the least, all right? I'm gonna be real. The American government right now is one of my absolute least hated governments, and that's all I have to say.
Tell me.
Very
It's a necessary evil.
I think you've had a charmed life. I think what I'll do, if you don't mind, numbers have just come out which are rather extraordinary, and I thought I'd play a tape of one of the people who I've respected over the years from, Joe Kiernan. And
Bro,
Rick.
dude, whenever they pull out the fucking clips, whenever like all the reporters come to ask questions, and he's like, let me show you a clip. I know you won't broadcast this. I know all of you guys just talk about how Elon Musk is leaving and fired, and we hate each other, but nope, let's go.
Santelli, this just came out, and we'll just play that for a second.
We'll just play that for you guys. We'll just play that for you. Oh, no.
Personal income is up 0.8%.
Oh, he's killing them. He's murdering them. And they have to broadcast this. This is brutal, man. Oh, look. And this is on CNBC also. They hate Trump here. He didn't even pull out Fox News. He literally pulled out someone that hates him.
That is almost triple the expectations.
Oh, that little nudge. Oh, God.
Income numbers, really, for the first year, they're stellar.
They're stellar,
really
huh?
Stellar. I mean, I could go back and look at the first 4 months of many different years. Really very strong numbers.
No, right. Stop. The glazing is crazy.
Is criticized for just about everything under the sun.
True.
I've ever, in my lifetime, had glimpses into the politics of an administration in the form of transparency like this one. Why don't we be, give credit where credit is due.
This is insane.
I'm really shooting up.
Rick, I also thought everybody was going to get one last order of imports that were going to be tariffed, and they were loading up on things. How the hell they are?
Yeah, right. Wait a second. The news was saying that everything was going terribly. Why is everything up? This is insane.
I'm not fixing it. To cut it in half, that's crazy. So there wasn't a lot of front loading of things that they needed before.
That is the craziest smile of all time. Look at that.
Before the tariffs hit.
Bro's like, yep, I told you. Wiggles eyebrows. Yep. There it is.
And, you know, it's going to be interesting to see what happens next month when we get this number, or we see some of the other numbers like current accounts, see how they fared. Because I don't know, I've been watching these numbers a long time. I don't think I've ever seen the trade deficit cut.
Oh,
Not bad.
not bad, not bad. Hey, reporters, start clapping like the monkeys you are. Oh, that smile. Oh, God, content president. The Nux was right. The Trump was right about everything mentality is crazy. Bro, the Doge father.
Here, so it's great. You guys
Elon Musk officially leaving Doge so he could take over the streaming world.
stand over here, you might as well. You're the ones that help produce those numbers, and it'll only get better. The tariffs are so important, and that's why we were so happy with the decision yesterday where the tariffs continue, because without the tariffs, our nation would be imperiled. We would really be imperiled. I think I can say that.
By the way, I know that Trump was right about everything, but, like, I was also right about everything. So, like, Nux and Trump were right about everything. Me and Jaden and Trump were literally all right about everything.
With great surety, Scott and Howard. So we were very happy to get that decision, that big decision yesterday. And today it's about a man named Elon, and he's one of the greatest business leaders and innovators the world has ever produced. He's stepped forward to put his very great talents
He's rich as balls.
Service of our nation. And
He's right. Where's the lie?
And I just want to say that Elon has worked tirelessly helping lead the most sweeping and consequential government reform program
He's right.
in generations.
He's
and
correct.
You know the kinds of things that he's found and his people have found. He's brought a group of very smart people in, and they found things that are pretty unbelievable. I have to say that the numbers that we're talking about are substantial, but they're going to be very much more substantial with time, because many of the things that we're working on right now, we're going to have to remember Elon as we find them, but the numbers could double and triple.
Damn.
Because many things, we don't want to go out with them until we're sure, but we've found things that are unbelievably stupid and unbelievably bad. With the Department of Government Efficiency, Elon's delivered a colossal change in the old ways of doing business in Washington. Doge has installed geniuses with an engineering mindset and unbelievably talented people and computers.
The thing I like, again, I said this before, but I'm going to say it again just in case we don't get another chance to talk about Doge. Doge is my favorite example of the retard detector at work. And I say this without a hint of sarcasm. If you are anti-Doge, you might be retarded. And I don't mean that as a slur. I mean it as a diagnosis. Dog, Doge is literally cutting absolute bullshit programs, finding fraud. Everyone, all the big names in the government all came together. They all came together, all 7 swing states, to be absolutely terrified that they will all get exposed for being unbelievably shady people. Bro, the amount of content we made out of Doge, the amount of discoveries Doge did, and billions of dollars. Doge saved $4 billion a day, bro. $4 billion a day. Like, what is even happening, bro? Anyone against Doge is retarded.
Actually, yes.
That's my diagnosis.
What's their primary thing? And they have a lot of primary things, all having to do with being smart. But he said the thing that they're really the best at is working with computers so that they can't be outsmarted by somebody that's not so honest, that happens to also be good with computers, but not as good as these people. But the mindset in the senior ranks of every federal department, and it's really changed. And with Elon's guidance, they're helping to detect frauds, waste, and modernize broken and outdated systems. So as you know, we're talking about various systems and changing systems. And, you know, sadly, it takes a long time to do that. You'll change, let's say, a system at IRS and computerize it properly where the job can be done in 1/10 the time, but it takes...
But don't worry, because we have these completely useless government workers. That's right. All these useless government workers that are definitely here earning their paycheck. Shout out to those guys. Hell yeah. Woo! I'm really glad that our taxpayer dollars are paying these complete retards in the workforce. They're really improving American society, aren't they?
It takes sometimes years to rebuild those systems, but we've started. In many cases, we've started. I will say that this has less to do with Elon, but the air traffic control systems, we're bidding out to the best companies in the world, those systems right now. They were what the previous administration was horrible what they did. They spent billions and billions of dollars. And in the end, it didn't working. They tried to hook
He's
It can't
gay.
be done. And they just spent billions of dollars and just wasted money. Actually made the system much worse. So we're going to get a brand new modern system.
It's
Working
so
with us
base.
on that, and we're going to get it done.
Everyone is such a loser if they think that this isn't a good thing. I'm telling you, every time I hear about Doge, and it's not just from Trump, about anyone, even the people that try to like describe it as a bad thing, it's like, but don't you feel bad for all of the government workers getting fired? No, I don't even feel a little bit bad for all the government workers getting fired. If you're not doing your job, get the hell out of there, bro. I am paying taxes. My taxes are going to absolute useless government workers. Why are we giving them jobs? This is like, I would like to hire you to pick your nose. It's the equivalent. Would I feel bad if someone who was hired to pick their nose got fired? Not really. But they're losing their job. I don't give a shit. Figure it out. Come on, guys. The world of capitalism. The world's your oyster. You can figure something out. You don't have to be paid by the government to just be a bitch in the Congress. Like, get out of here.
Done as quickly as we can, but it's in the works, and once it's done, it'll be good for 30 years. But we have a system that's 48 years old and would have a modern computer hooked into a very outdated computer.
So base.
And they don't hook up. I mean, they didn't hook up. So after spending billions of dollars, they turned on the system, and it in never any cases from local to countrywide, they never worked. More than 75,000 bureaucrats have voluntarily left their taxpayer-funded jobs to come out and really do the job. Countless wasteful and unnecessary contracts have been terminated, and you know that we have terminated many contracts, and many contracts, Elon, are right now being looked at, and it may be
so
6
based.
months, it may be almost a year in some cases. We're going through procedures, we're going through courts, and we'll remember as we announce billions of dollars of extra waste, fraud, and abuse. Just as an example, Doge canceled $101 million for DEI contracts at the Department of Education. 101.
Dude, not only is this saving money, all right, which it is, it's saving $100 million, right? If you're cutting $100 million of DEI in Department of Education, all right, apparently people don't understand this, but this is good because A, it saved $100 million, and B, because DEI is a net negative to society. It's not like you're paying for something good. You're literally paying money for people to ruin your children, all right? Huge dub. We take these every single day. You know my opinion on DEI. I think it's worse than a scam. It's a negative. It's worse than a scam.
$1 million, and that was just a small section of the Department of Education. $59 million for illegal alien hotel rooms in New York City, and the landlord never made the kind of money that he made in the last short period of time. $59 million to a hotel in New York City. $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarship in Burma.
These are such colossal W's. It's so good.
Know about Burma? $42 million for social and behavioral change in Uganda. $40 million.
And this is the stuff that we're able to find. All right, imagine how much waste there was over. Like, the fact that these aren't happening is really nice, right? You have to realize this is a really good thing. But imagine how many trillions of dollars were pissed away into random social brainwashing of other countries.
Dollars to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. I can say it's $2 billion to
$2 billion to surprise butt sex in Afghanistan.
Stacey Abrams and her environmental movement. There was $100 in the account, and all of a sudden they found $2 billion in the account. And I assume that's being looked at. I don't know. I'm not sure, but I assume that's being looked at. Think of that, $2 billion. And then Lee will tell you there's another one over there for $20 billion being spent on another environmental. $20 billion, not 20 million, a lot. 200,000, which is a lot.
Dude, $5 is a lot. $5 is too much, all right? Again, if you're wasting your own money, that's one thing. I don't give a shit if you decide to waste your own money. Personally, I am all for you doing whatever the fuck you want with your own life because it's not my business. What is my business is when you're doing it with my money, okay? When it's my tax dollars that are going to the government for the sake of America, and you are spending those tax dollars on absolute bullshit for $5 a month. It's awful, okay? Elon Musk just followed Asmongold on Twitter. Wait. Asmongold got a new Twitter follower after announcing his June 2nd multi-stream. Elon Musk! Hasan's so fun. Hasan is so cooked, bro. Oh, God. Dude, the day keeps getting better. The day keeps getting better.
So think of it, in her case, you have $100, and now all of a sudden she gets hit with an infusion of $2 billion just before I take office. $20 million for Arab Sesame Street in the Middle East. Nobody knows what that's all about.
Yep, nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Making mice transgender.
True. Dude, by the way, this was my favorite thing because the media tried to twist this as him misspeaking. And they're like, it didn't actually mean transgender. It actually meant transgenic. No, it meant transgender. I pulled up the receipts. It actually happened.
Dollars on making mice transgender. And those are better than many of the others. I could sit here all day and read things just like that, but we have other things to do. So it's much, much more than just that. We're totally committed to making the Doge cuts permanent and stopping much more of the waste in the months to come. We want to get our great, big, beautiful bill finished and done. After that, we're going to be...
Yeah, he forgot to mention how they cut literal aid that went to terrorists. I love how he forgot to talk about tents that were used by ISIS, or cement that was used by Hamas, or condoms that were sent to Gaza. Like I love how they forgot to mention. I mean, he didn't forget. Obviously, there's a massive list. But bro, what a colossal fucking W.
We put some of this into the bill, but most of it's going to come later. We're going to have it cauterized by Congress.
They're eating the dogs, eating the cats.
In some cases, we'll make cuts. In some cases, we'll just use it in a different layer to save the money. But it's hundreds of billions of dollars. Doge has also fully modernized the federal retirement process and continues to work very hard on the IRS modernization, but we're taking that over with Doge. Many of the Doge people, Elon, are staying behind too, so they're not leaving. And Elon's really not leaving.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize the reality here. And they're idiots, by the way, because a lot of people are like, oh my god, it's literally over, Elon retired, Doge is falling apart. Not only was Doge a massive W, but also Doge is continuing. Elon just can't be there beholden as by Doge for eternity. He's a busy man.
He's going to be back and forth, I think. I have a feeling. It's his baby, and I think he's going to be doing a lot of things. But Elon's service to America has been without comparison in modern history.
I agree. I completely agree. Bro did it for zero benefit, for zero gain. He made himself an enemy over half the country, the more violent half of the country, by the way. They bombed his businesses. They bombed his Teslas. They ruined his reputation. They went after him in every conceivable way. He did it for no pay whatsoever. Not elected, just did his job because he thought it would be good for the government. Absolute fucking legend for doing this. He really is. He really is.
Running one of the most innovative car companies in the world. You look at his factories and compare them with some of the old factories we have, and it's a big difference. And the most successful space company, and I guess in history you would have to say the largest free speech platform on the internet, etc. Yet Elon willingly, with all of the success, he willingly accepted the outrageous abuse and slander and lies and attacks. He does love our country.
He's right.
I know that very much. He loves our country. He comes from another country, a country that's going through trials and tribulations, I would say. But he's all about the USA, and Americans owe him a great debt of gratitude. So I just want to thank Elon for his time as special government employee. Can you imagine? They called him an employee, but it's a special government employee, and for coming and helping us. And he really has changed the mindset of a lot of people. A lot of people thought, maybe we'll cut 1% or 2% or 3%. Then they said, wow, we can cut a lot more than that. And we're going to do it very surgically. We're going to continue on the march. We're making America great again. When I was in Saudi Arabia, and we were in, as you know, three really great countries, predominantly the three. Qatar was great, UAE was great, Saudi Arabia, incredible. Such an incredible experience to be in those three countries. But the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, and I must tell you, the leaders, the great leaders.
What a great guy. Lovely fellow.
They all said the same thing, that the United States is the hottest country right now anywhere in the world.
It's hot. Nuclear
and
hot.
6 months ago, we thought it was dead. It was like a dead country.
Wow. Fuck. Oh, is that literally what they said? Oh my God. Is that what they actually said? The Prince of Saudi Arabia said that 6 months ago Trump was dead? I mean, true. So anyway.
And it would have been a dead country if we didn't have the right result on November 5th. It would have been a horrible, horrible situation was going on. with the borders, with transgender for everyone, men playing in women's sports, and so much more. But they were saying the hottest country anywhere in the world. And then I played that little clip because I was one person who was respected, or two people, because Joe was in that one too. Joe's a good man.
Oh,
but
God.
That was one group of people saying something about the success of what we've done over the last 4 months. They cannot believe it. In the one case, they said they've never seen anything like it as long as they've been doing what they've been doing. They've been doing it.
I didn't say it, but that's what they said. I didn't say it. They were like, wow, this Trump guy's amazing. I didn't say it.
For a long time. So I want to thank Elon for helping. And again, you know, the United States right now is the hottest country anywhere in the world. There's no country as hot. And we're doing...
The Jews that are controlling the weather, they turned up the heat. Those absolute legends. We appreciate them. All 7 swing Jews.
Really well. We came, when I left, we had no wars, we had no problems, we defeated
And
ISIS,
Biden,
we rebuilt our military.
Biden came in.
And we had no inflation. And when I came back, we had a lot of inflation. We had wars all over the place.
Never would have started if I was president.
We had the embarrassment in Afghanistan.
Afghanistan, they pulled out of Afghanistan.
Billions and billions of dollars.
They pulled out of Afghanistan, but really, Biden's mother should have pulled out instead. Or father, fuck.
Military equipment, the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, I believe.
It was lame and gay. Biden.
We have Russia with Ukraine. We had the attack in Israel.
Never would have happened if I was
October,
president.
The horrible attack, October 7th. Horrible, horrible attack.
It was pretty horrible.
Seen anything like it.
Never would have happened if I was president.
Now we have something where we're really healing a lot of that. We stopped India and Pakistan.
True, he's
fighting,
right.
I believe that.
Dude, I love how every single time he talks to reporters, he starts off with like a laundry list of self-glazing, and he absolutely deserves it. He absolutely deserves it. There are so many retards out there that are like, but isn't Trump just a fascism? Did he do a fascism, guys? Oh, y'all fucking loser, pathetic little whiny bitches. Oh, you losers.
That could have turned out into a nuclear disaster. And I want to thank the leaders of India, the leaders of Pakistan, and I want to thank my people also. We talk trade, and we said we can't trade with people.
I would like to first and foremost thank myself for being the greatest 2 presidents of all time.
That are shooting at each other and potentially using nuclear weapons. And
that's what we call the N-word. The N-word, nuclear. Hard on, nuclear.
Leaders in those countries, and they understood, and they agreed, and that all stopped, and we're stopping others from fighting also, because ultimately we can fight better than anybody. We have the greatest military in the world. We have the greatest leaders in the world. We put one of them in charge of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, as you know, General Raisin Kane, and we wiped out ISIS, completely wiped out ISIS in 3 weeks. They said it would take 5 years, and we did it in 3 weeks, and that's the way it is. But we don't want to have to use our military. We want to be peace through strength when we can. And that's the way we're going to have it. So I just want to thank Elon and all of his people. Most of those people are staying. Almost all of them are staying, and they're going to be with us. And you're going to see the results coming long into the future. Even a year and 2 years later, you're going to see a lot of the results, and those hundreds of billions of dollars are going to be adding up, and they're going to continue to add. It'll be really interesting to see what the final number is going to be. But again,
yeah, agreed.
Elon
super
gave an
agreed.
Service. Nobody like him, and he had to go through the slings and the arrows, which is a shame because he's an incredible patriot. The good news is that 90% of the country knows that, and they appreciate it, and they really appreciate what he did. And I gave him a little special something we have here, a very
that's nice
to very special people. I have given it to some, but it goes to very special people, and I thought I'd give it to Elon as a presentation from our country.
Wow, look at that. He has a key to the White House, and Biden had his security access revoked. That's rough. That's not easy.
Thank you. Take care of you.
Thank you.
Look at them. They came in as homies. They're leaving as homies. It literally worked. Actual goat. That's frickin' awesome.
You see the lock. The lock on this is amazing.
I think bro's probably high. I'm not gonna lie.
Just a few words that this is not the end of Doge, but really the beginning.
That's what I wanted to hear! Oh my god, the fucking haters, the libtards that are losing their shit will continue to get lost. Do you realize this? They made such an unbelievable fool and ass of themselves over this whole Doge thing. God, it's everything I ever wanted. It's saving money and meltdowns to retards. These are my 2 favorite things.
My time as a special government employee necessarily had to end. It was a limited time thing. It's 134 days, I believe, which ends in a few days. So that, you know, it comes with a time limit. But the Doge team will only grow stronger over time.
Let's go.
The Doge will only grow stronger. It's I liken it to sort of Buddhism. It's like a way of life. So it is permeating throughout the government, and I'm confident that over time we will see $1 trillion of savings and a reduction in $1 trillion of waste and fraud reduction. The calculations of the Doge team thus far, in terms of an FY25 to FY26 delta, are over 160 billion, and that's climbing. We expect that number will probably go over 200 billion soon. So I think the Doge team is doing an incredible job.
That's
They're
crazy.
Doing an incredible job.
That's crazy.
And I'll continue to be visiting here and be a friend and advisor to the president. And I look forward to times being back in this amazing room. By the way, isn't this incredible?
That's a pretty great room.
It's
Bro is definitely tripping, bro. He's definitely high. Good.
The way that the Oval Office, the president has just completely redone the Oval Office. It's beautiful. I love the gold on the ceiling.
Pretty nice.
Yeah.
That's been there a long time. That was plaster. Nobody ever really saw it. They didn't know the eagle was up there. And we
there's an eagle up there? Wait.
It's a landmark, a great landmark.
Bro, autism kicked in. Autism unlocked. Why does he have a black eye? Did they explain this at some point? Bro, he's not married to the French president's wife. Mrs. Macron didn't slap him. What's going on?
24 karat.
They do explain it? Okay, dude, but that face. Oh my god, that is the thumbnail of all thumbnails. Holy.
24 karat gold, and everybody loved it. Now they all see it when they come in, so it's been good.
The Oval Office finally has the majesty that it deserves, thanks to the president.
Let's go. I'll just be real. A lot of people don't know this, but I think that you should respect yourself. And if you're American, you should respect who you are, where you came from, your ancestors, and your country. I think that there is something glorious about respecting and loving yourself. And I think that this whole fucking neo-Marxist self-shittifying on yourself. Oh, here I am, I'm a pathetic man living on stolen land. My grandfather had slaves, and my other grandfather was lame and retarded and gay. My life is pathetic. I'm not allowed to be happy with things that I had. Nah, bro, you live in the United States of America. The best country ever. Like, can we stop? Like, what are we talking about? Like, stop being so lame and pathetic. Be proud of who you are and where you came from and what you built and what your forefathers built. All right? No one's perfect, but look at where you are. Bring some majesty back. This fucking bullshit feeling shitty about yourself is so lame, and it's so 2020. God bless America, goddammit.
I look forward to continuing to be a friend and advisor to the president, continuing to support the Doge team, and we are relentlessly pursuing $8 trillion in waste and fraud reductions, which will benefit the American taxpayer. So that's it, really.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Good speech, good speech.
Great job.
Thank you, President Trump. The president mentioned that you had to deal with all the slings and arrows during your time at Doge. There's this New York
Some of the people, some of the media organizations in this room were the slingers.
No! Lord, stop.
There is a New York Times report today that accuses you of blurring the line.
Wait. It's the New York Times. Is that the same publication that got a Pulitzer Prize for false reporting on the Russiagate? Is it the same organization?
Holy fucking shit. His last day in office, and he decided, you know what? We're burning this fucker to the ground. Oh my lord.
I think it is. I think the judge just ruled against the New York Times for their lies about the Russiagate hoax, and that they might have to give back that Pulitzer Prize.
He's not playing around. Oh my god, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Whoa. Dude, Trump, everyone's so satisfied.
New York Times, let's move on.
Okay, first of all, bro's high. Second of all, he's just like, you know what? Fuck you. Next reporter.
Okay.
Next question.
President Trump.
Bro fucking raped that man in 4K footage. Holy. Bro's trap card activated.
Who used to work here are in talks with Republicans in Congress to go and testify about what they did or didn't do to possibly conceal President Biden's decline.
Holy.
Do you think that Dr. Jill Biden should also have to come in and testify about what she did or didn't do?
Well, I hate the concept of it. It's the wife of a man who was going through a lot of problems.
Dude has more respect for Biden than the largest leftist political streamer, by the way. Hasan Piker was cheering that man got cancer.
And everybody that dealt with him understood that. And I guess it came out during the debate loud and clear. That was the biggest signal of all. They have to do what's right. The country was, there was a lot of dishonesty in the election, as you know, of 2020. That's been now caught.
Uh-oh.
People understand it.
What?
It was a rigged
Wait, what?
election.
What do you mean people understand it? What, he's just dropping that? Like an N-bomb? A nuclear bomb, of course? Wait. Are we getting more info on that? Because that'll be crazy.
And when you go further out, when you see the auto pen, I mean, I think the auto pen is going to become one of the great scandals of all time, because you have somebody operating it or a number of people operating. Because I knew Joe Biden. Joe Biden wasn't in favor of opening up borders, letting 21 million people into this from prisons and mental institutions and gang members. He wasn't into that at all. And you know, who signed these orders, proclamations, and all of the different things that he signed that set our country so far back? That was so bad for our country.
With the auto pen, how would it work? Like, we're in the Oval Office right now. If there was a group of rogue staffers that worked for you who wanted to advance a bill or an executive order without your knowledge, how could they do it? How do they?
Well, it's very hard, because I'd read your newspapers or your media the next day, and I'd say, well, I didn't approve that, and I would
Oh my God, that's insane.
find it. I mean, they wouldn't get away with it for long. Because
Yeah, no one's getting away with that shit. Unless, of course, the president has no brain and his mind is a soup and it's leaking out of his ear.
I'd say, I never signed that. Who the hell signed that? Auto pens, to me, are used to sign letters to people, because we get, I think they said 20,000 letters a week.
Oh my God.
And you
Yeah.
like to be able, when somebody
Yeah,
makes a
yeah,
letter,
I
it's
get
nice
that.
to sort
That's a
write
lot of
back.
letters.
And auto pens are meant for that. Auto pens are not meant to sign major proclamations or tax cuts or borders, anything having to do with the border, which is so important. And if it happened on my watch, I would be able to see it, because the next day or sooner I'd be reading about something that I knew nothing about, and who the hell signed this? So I almost never used
Bro is the most transparent president of all time. The craziest thing is, if someone did try to pass off like a Trump bill or something, you know, the media would just ask him that live on the news the next day, and he'd be like, huh? But obviously that didn't happen, because he knows what he's doing in office.
the auto pen. In fact, yesterday I was signing about 81, I think it was 81 proclamations and statements to people that I think should be signed by us. I think when you write letters to foreign dignitaries or presidents or prime ministers, you should be signing those letters, not done with auto pens. I understand he signed
makes a
almost
good point.
everything with an auto pen. It's
Yeah,
a very
no shit.
dangerous thing. It really means you're not president. Whoever operated the auto pen, and we think we know who that is.
What? Dude, who ran the country for 4 years? Oh, what? Bro, dude, he's fucking, he's milking us along. He's literally teasing us. Oh my God, I got to know.
And it was actually more than one person.
Bro, stop. Stop doing it, bro. Dude, please.
That's not what the presidency is all about. I hardly use that.
Dude, I am getting edged by the president of the United States in real time. Hillary and Obunga, those are my top guesses. I have no idea, bro. You don't understand. He is teasing the shit out of me right now.
Reinstate the tariffs on China. You said that they violated the agreement with the U.S.
Well, they did. They violated a big part of the agreement we made. You know,
Oh.
you read that whole statement. I was very nice to them. I helped them because they were in trouble with the stoppage of a massive amount of business. But I'm sure that I'll speak to President Xi and hopefully we'll work that
President
out.
Xi.
Yeah, that's a
Wonderful
violation.
man.
Yeah,
President, can you give us an update to the latest ceasefire agreement that Israel has agreed to, but Hamas is still considering?
well,
Wait a second. So you're telling me that Hamas, who are in the middle of getting genocided, according to Hasan Piker, are refusing a peace deal? I've never heard of people getting genocided refusing a peace deal. That's fucking weird. Color me shocked and blue.
they're very close to an agreement on Gaza, and we'll let you know about it during the day or maybe tomorrow, and we have a chance of that. And I think we have a chance of making a deal with Iran also. They don't want to be blown up they would rather make a deal.
Understandable.
And I think that could happen in the not too distant future.
Yeah.
That'd be a great thing if we could have a deal.
Yes, correct.
Without,
I'm with him. Without bombing.
Bombs being dropped all over the Middle East. That would be a very good thing.
Yeah.
They can't have it. We want them to be safe. We want them to have a very, very successful nation. Let it be a great nation, but we can't have that. They cannot have a nuclear weapons.
He's right. Again, when it comes to Iran, my stance is incredibly simple. Iran supports every terrorist organization in the Middle East, essentially. They support Hamas, they support Hezbollah, they support the Houthis. They support all these fucking assholes all over the place that are murdering Jews, Christians, other Muslims of other delineations of Muslims. All right, they are out there sponsoring terror attacks, chanting death to America. They cannot have nukes. It's as simple as that. It's so easy. Now, obviously, the best way to go would be through peace, right? If you threaten them that if you get nukes, we're going to bomb the fuck out of you, and they decide, all right, okay, understandable, we will not be bombing the fuck out of you if you make a deal. And if they don't make a deal, you bomb the fuck out of them. I hate to be rude, but these are the options. Life's shit sometimes, but I'm just too real.
I think we're fairly close to a deal with Iran.
Based. So based. I really hope that works. I hope it doesn't come down to war. But they can't have nukes. You can't give a fucking terrorist country nuclear weapons.
You said just now that...
And again, I'm not talking about the civilians in Iran. The civilians in Iran are oppressed under an incredibly oppressive, evil fucking regime. All right? Those guys are terrorist sponsors, and they cannot have nukes.
Look forward to being a friend and advisor to the president. So do you expect to continue advising the president and Doge informally, or are you going to sort of shift your focus entirely to your companies?
Well, I expect to continue to provide advice whenever the president would like advice.
I hope so.
He's still gonna be a good friend. He's like, hey, I'm just a DM away. Message anytime. We're gonna be homies.
I mean, I expect to remain a friend and an advisor, and certainly if there's anything the president wants me to do, I'm at the president's service.
I have killer robots stationed all over the country.
You said that there was $1 trillion promise.
Dude, these people are such retards. Like actual retards. I mean, you said $1 trillion promise. You only saved $500 billion. You're an absolute fucking cuck.
Yes, I think we do expect over time to achieve the $1 trillion.
But what have you found in your time here?
Bro, it's over.
Was the biggest roadblock to getting those cuts? Was it?
It's the Democrat elite and establishment. That's my hot take. Let's see what he says.
Cabinet, or was it Congress, or something else? What was the biggest roadblock from your work?
It's mostly just a lot of hard work. It's really not.
All right, I appreciate that. That's a fair response.
Any one person or Congress.
Yeah, all right.
Going through really millions of line items and saying just each one of them makes sense or does not make sense. Obviously, at times when you cut expenses, those who are receiving the money, whether they're receiving that money legitimately or not, they do complain. And you're not going to hear someone confessing that they received money inappropriately. Never. They received money appropriately from
no
a
shit.
Court. That's what you expect. But so we just got. It's just a lot of work going through the vast expenses of the federal government and just really asking questions. What's this money for? Are you sure it's actually being used well? Many times we can't even find anyone who defends it. So for a lot of the expenses, there is actually no defender at all. And then we have to just work through the process of stopping the spending, where there's often literally no defender. Nobody even knows why the money's being spent. It's truly absurd. I mean, we find situations where there are millions of software licenses with 0 people using them. 0.
Every time I hear something new about Doge, it just reignites the flame inside me that makes me hate the government even more. Oh my god, bro, that's insanity.
Exactly. This is the quizzical expression. You're like, surely, if there's millions of software licenses, someone should be using them.
Yeah, you'd think so.
And then we've got to go through the process of saying, okay, look, if no one's using the software, we need to terminate this software license agreement. That's everywhere in the government, by the way.
Mr. Musk, what do you think would be easier, colonizing Mars or making the government efficient?
See, now that's a good question. Now the reporters are starting to lock in. Bro, no one wants the same treatment as the fucking New York Times guy. New York Times guy got so obliterated. Bro's ass got stretched all over Elon's fist. No one else wants to even deal with that.
It's a tough call, but I think colonizing Mars and making life multiplanetary is harder.
Wow.
And as I said, we do expect to achieve over time the $1 trillion of savings. We can't do it in like a few months, but if you say by the official end of Doge, which the president may choose to extend, is the middle of next year. Say by the middle of next year, with the support of the president and Congress, could we achieve $1 trillion of savings? I think so. We're on track to do so.
Do you have faith that Congress is going to...
Go ahead.
Mr. President, you had mentioned earlier in the week that Doge had become a whipping boy, and as the president mentioned, you went through a lot.
He's right. He's right.
Was it worth it for you?
The way the media actually attacked Doge is so ruthless and brutal and despicable. Like, they attacked him for fucking nothing. He did nothing wrong. Elon Musk did absolutely nothing wrong or even remotely controversial. And the fact that it became controversial just goes to show that the media machine and Democrat elite didn't like that this shit was happening. Like, it's so obvious. It's so fucking obvious to anyone with a brain.
You, and what would you change?
Yeah, so what we found was happening was that if there were any cuts anywhere, then people would assume that was done by Doge. And so we became like essentially the Doge boogeyman, where
everyone was scared of him.
Anywhere would be ascribed to Doge. You know, a friend of mine's daughter, who's at law school at Georgetown, thought that Doge had cut the Senate, the internships, the legal internships for the Senate. And we have nothing to do with that. So if they have been cut, it's with us.
Bro, anytime anyone got fired in the government, they blame Doge. Nah, dude, that's crazy.
Exactly.
Oh, no.
So, it just became a bit ridiculous where any cut anywhere was somehow Doge. And including things that made no sense. And we would agree made no sense. So there are many things that occur in the government because it's the banal evil of bureaucracy. It's sort of the frankly, largely uncaring nature of bureaucracy. It's as the great Milton Friedman said, money is spent most poorly when it is someone else's money spent on people you don't know.
Oh my God, literally such a good quote.
And that's how federal spending is. And then you can't really even blame the individuals because the way the government works is complaint minimization. So when someone within the government tries to stop money being spent, there's usually someone that complains, and then their manager will say it's not worth the trouble. Just pay it anyway. That happens over again. I think it was an important thing. I think it was a necessary thing, and I think it will have a good effect in the future.
Thank you, President Trump. This week there was a video on board.
Thank you, President Trump. This guy's such a fucking fraud.
Plane that showed the First Lady of France.
Yes, make fun of the French president. Do it.
Slapping.
Yes, he slapped her. Oh, that was so good.
Her husband.
His husband, the French, in case you're aware, the French president actually allegedly married his father after his father transitioned into his wife. It's a really weird story. Am I saying this to make fun of him with very little evidence? Yes, but I will still do that because he deserves to be made fun of. Yep, that's what happens to don't be a retard next time. No one will make fun of you. I'm a simple man. I make fun of a French guy. That's what we do. Subscribe, oui.
Emmanuel Macron.
Yeah.
Do you have any world leader to world leader marital advice?
Marital advice. All right, marital advice. Do not marry your transgender father. All right, I'm just saying. A lot of people don't realize this fact, but let me tell you something. The prime minister in France, the president of France, whatever the title you give this retard, he was 15 years old when he met who ended up becoming his wife. All right. He was 15 and she was, I think, 39. She is 25 years older than him. She was his teacher in school. Okay. And he ended up dating her when he was 17. And then they got married. It's some fucked up shit, bro. I'm telling you, man. Like, this dude whipped. Ooh, whipped my guy. All right, marital advice. Let's go, President.
Make sure the door remains closed.
No!
No, I spoke to him and...
oh my God, that's crazy. Listen, I know your wife. I'm sure she pegs you. I'm sure you get off to it because you're fucked up. But hey, what can I say? At least don't tell the media.
He's fine. They're fine. Two really good people. I know him very well.
Oh, yeah, he has to say that.
And I don't know what that was all about, but I know him very well, and they're fine.
I know a little...
Yeah, he's listen, that's Trump being a negotiator, all right? Bro doesn't want beef over this shit. He doesn't want petty drama. She keeps his balls in her purse, bro.
What is that plan to avoid being swept in every battleground state again by spending $20 million to study how to speak to American men?
Dude, I heard about that. They're spending $20 million on the left to study how to speak to American men. Fucking retards. Just don't call them all evil and rapists, all right? It's literally easy. Just make men proud to be men instead of embarrassed to be not more feminine people, all right? Stop making men the enemy. Absolute crackheads.
Well, you know, they spent $2.8 billion. We spent 1.5. We spent much less. We spent about half of what they spent. And at the end, they were 28 million short. They had to be spend 2.8 billion. It's a lot, but they couldn't get 28 million at the end, and now they want to spend. I read that they want to spend money to learn how to talk. That's fake. You don't want to be fake. You shouldn't have to hire consultants to say what America needs.
He is so right. He is literally right. You don't need a PR manager for the president to talk to people, because then you're not getting the president. You're getting a fucking act. Actual retards.
You know, then they
How could it's humiliating. Could you imagine them needing to admit that they're spending $20 million to figure out how to speak to men? Oh my God.
the consultant should be running the deal, not them. But I read that they want to spend a lot of money in each state, so we won all 7 swing states.
All 7 swing states! All 7 of them. The map is red for Republican.
We won a lot more than that. We won the popular vote. We won
Popular
everything.
vote.
And they want to spend money to find out what they did wrong. And I mean, I can tell you what they did wrong. I can tell you every one of their programs when they say men playing in women's sports.
It's over. Yeah, he literally hit the nail on the head. It's like, you want the men's vote? All right, we want the men's vote, but y'all have to cut your penises off if we'll respect you.
Say that's not a winner. When they say transgender for everybody, I think that's not a winner. When they say open borders so the entire world population of criminals can pour into our country, I don't think that's a winner. I mean, I just gave them that for free. I don't know if they'll change their ways. I see them.
You don't need a consultant. Just listen to your president.
All the time I see people that I know in Congress, Democrats, they're trying to justify some of the things I just said. You can't justify them. I always hear they're 80-20 issues. I say they're not 80-20, they're 97-3. They might be 99-1. They're not 80-20. They wish they were 80-20.
He's cooking, my guy. Oh, my God.
They're wasting a lot of money if they're going to continue with that nonsense.
And this Mr. President, on the big question, but back when you listened to The Apprentice, you mentioned once in 2012 that Diddy was a good friend of yours back then.
Bro, why the fuck are they doing this, bro?
He's found himself in some very serious legal trouble.
Yeah, that's true.
Would you ever consider pardoning him?
No, don't even.
Well, nobody's asked. You had to be the one to ask, Peter.
Well, actually, I'm pretty sure Kanye West asked him to pardon Diddy, but what the fuck?
Nobody's asked, but I know people.
You see Hasan Piker salivating, begging, praying that his best friend Diddy. Because you might not know this, but Hasan Piker, largest leftist political streamer, is well known to have admitted to. I actually have the fucking shit pulled up right here. Check this shit out, baby.
I walked into this back sphere Epcot looking thing in the back of the house that P. Diddy was renting for and was throwing after parties at Coachella. And they were playing these crazy things for people who are high. Not me, of course. I had only eaten portobello mushrooms. And one of the images that they were playing was this little girl, this supposedly attractive, very young girl.
Supposedly attractive, very young girl. A lot of people don't know this, but it is possible that Hasan Piker fucked children at Diddy parties. It's a very, very possibility that might have happened. Who knows?
People are thinking about it. I know they're thinking about it. I think some people have been very close to asking. First of all, I'd look at what's happening, and I haven't been watching it too closely, although it's certainly getting a lot of coverage. I haven't seen him. I haven't spoken to him in years. He used to really like me a lot, but I think when I ran for politics, that relationship busted up.
No shit.
He didn't tell me that, but I'd read some little bit nasty statements in the paper all of a sudden. It's different. You become a much different person when you run for politics and you do what's right. I could do other things, and I'm sure he'd like me, and I'm sure other people would like me, but it wouldn't be as good for our country. As we said, our country's doing really well because of what we're doing, so it's not a popularity contest. So, I don't know, I would certainly look at the facts. If I think somebody was mistreated, whether they like me or don't like me, it wouldn't have any impact on me.
All right, that's an appropriate answer.
Bill, would you like to see the Senate build in some support for your tariffs on the big, beautiful bill, or should that be a standalone bill?
I have great support on the tariffs. I mean, I was so honored that we got that ridiculous stay lifted, because that would have taken away presidential power. It would have taken away everything that was granted by the founders. It would have been a terrible thing. And it would have, most importantly, would have left us vulnerable. We have a lot of countries that use tariffs on us and use them viciously. And if we didn't have the power to use tariffs on them, and instantly, not when you go back to Congress and try and get hundreds of people to agree on something, that would take months to get just one simple proclamation. If we didn't have the power to counteract their powers, you wouldn't have a country left. We have to act fast. We have to be fast and nimble, as they say.
Nimble and quick, fast as a horse.
Moment, I think, yesterday when that stay was lifted, and hopefully now we'll go to court and just win that battle. Because if we don't have the power to do what they're doing to us, we are going to be a great nation no longer.
Elon Musk was once idolized by folks on the left in this country before joining your administration. Now he's considered a hero by conservatives. Why do you think this man, what he's done in American life, has been so politicized?
Well, his life has been amazing. I mean, I look at so many different things. I look at that rocket being, guided back into position. I've never seen that before. I thought it was a space movie. I thought it was a movie.
High praise.
What he's done in terms of communication, it's been unbelievable. So many different, even tunnels going underground, not having to go through all the process of going. He's got a company that does that. He's got so many different companies. Starlink, as an example, he saved a lot of lives, probably hundreds of lives in North Carolina. I don't even know if you remember, but I called you. They needed Starlink in North Carolina, and I didn't know what the hell Starlink was. I said, what is it? Who owns it? He said, do you know Elon Musk? I said, yeah, I happen to know the gentleman. This was before his government stay, and they said, we really need it, because North Carolina became an island. It was people had no communication, they had no access to anything, and they were dying. And I called up Elon, and
look at that.
It was very hard to get, and he had so much of it brought over there.
It's
and
crazy.
They told me it was unbelievable. It saved a lot of lives.
He saved a lot of people.
He
saved the astronauts as well. Almost no coverage in the media. He became a villain, and I think he did an unbelievable thing. He did an unbelievable thing for the last couple of years. And the fact that people hate him over that's insane. Like, I get if you don't like him on a personal level, but holy shit. Imagine being on the wrong side of history so badly.
Frankly, I don't think he gets credit for what he's done. But he's a very good person, too. If he wasn't a good person, but he did the same things, I'd probably maybe speak differently. He happens to be a really good person who loves the country.
Mr. Beautiful Bill, you had indicated this week that there were some things you didn't like about what had passed in the House. What changes do you want to see the Senate make? And you had also indicated there were things you didn't like about the bill. What would you be suggesting he push senators to change in their version?
Well, I'll tell you, I'll go first. It's an unbelievable bill. It cuts you.
Yeah, it's shocking to me that this big, beautiful bill gets so much pushback when apparently 80% of Americans actually approve of the big, beautiful bill. Like, he wants no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. Like, there's so many closed borders, ICE agents. Like, and it's insane to me watching people jump over backwards to find an excuse not to like the big, beautiful bill.
The deficits, it cuts, it's a huge cutting. But there's things I'd like to see maybe cut a little bit more. I'd like to see a bigger cut in taxes. It's going to be the largest tax decrease or cut in the history of our country. I'd like to see it get down to an even lower number. I was shooting for a slightly lower number. I would have liked to have done that. But with all of that being said, when you look at the tax cut and the fact that the original tax cut, which made us we had the most successful 4 years in the history of our country, the economy, and this is going to be even better. And you see that by the reports that came out just yesterday or tonight. I guess they were released this morning at 8 o'clock. You see the kind of numbers where somebody that's a pro is like, whoa, I haven't seen numbers like this since I've been doing this. These are human emotions of professionals that have never seen numbers like, and we've just started. The bill is a great bill.
A great bill, a beautiful bill.
Jiggered around a little bit. It's going to be negotiated with the Senate, with the House. But the end result is it extends the Trump tax cuts. If it doesn't get approved, you'll have a 68% tax increase. You're going to go up 68%. That's a number that nobody's ever heard of before. You'll have a massive tax increase. If it does get approved, you'll have a large tax cut, the largest we've ever had.
Yeah, so you know what Democrats are saying in the media, by the way? Do you know what the media is doing? The media is jumping in and being like, this is the largest transfer of wealth from the poor to the rich of all time. And they're all lying. They all just go onto TV and lie. They literally just do that. It's crazy watching this shit because, like, Trump is unironically the best president probably ever when it comes to lowering taxes for the middle class. Like, this is crazy, bro.
When you add the past...
Like, these people have to be traitors to the country and their people. Like, they just push and peddle lies. No one actually even listens to the actual president.
We got you. The Trump tax, they call them the Trump tax cuts. It's an amazing bill. It does amazing things. With all of that, it's going to be adjusted a little bit over the next coming weeks, and I think it's going to be passed. The Republicans want to pass it. With all of the great things it does, including an extension of debt, it's the extension. We have to extend the debt. If we don't extend debt, we're in default. Now,
no one in the media, by the way, knows what any of this shit means. They don't understand what he's even saying. Like, he's the only businessman in the room.
Might like
and him and Musk. The guys that have saved billions of dollars for the country.
Our country to be in default, but in 250 years, we've never been in default. That was handed to them by a very well-meaning man that gave it to them because he thought it was the right thing to do. It could have been their problem before the election, but this man thought it was the right thing to do, and he was well-meaning. I don't hold anything against him for that, but that was put on our plate when it should have been on the Democrats. September 28th, a famous date. It should have been taken care of by the Democrats, but this person, a man of power, gave it to us so that in June that comes due. Well, we have to take care of that because if we don't take care of it, we have a country in default, and we don't ever want to have a country in default.
Obviously.
You know, I'll tell you.
Yeah, he's spitting. It's insane.
Elizabeth Warren said that she would never, ever allow a default on our debt. She would never let it happen, and she would like to get rid of the debt ceiling, what's called the debt ceiling. I call it the debt extension because we really need an extension, that she'd like to see that gotten rid of. And there are many people that agree. Many Democrats agree with that, but we gave that through, and you know, I don't want to say an error. He did it well-meaning. They gave that to us. It was a Democrat problem just before the election. Would have had a huge impact on the election. And to our benefit, we won anyway, but to our benefit. But felt that really for the good of the country, we should extend that. But Elizabeth Warren and various other people would like to see that. Her whole career, she wanted to see it terminated, gotten rid of, not being voted on every 5 years or 10 years. And the reason was because it's so catastrophic for our country. And I always agreed with her. That was one thing I agreed with her.
It's so wild to me how you'll have like this whole group of people in the Democrats. They literally shout and yell and scream that certain things need to happen. Trump is like, yep, we need to do that. Let's do it. And then they're all like, no, not like that. No. Orange Man should be the one to do it. No. It's the same with tariffs. Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, Barack Obama, all of them came together to say, yep, we need tariffs on other countries. They're taking advantage of us. It's not fair. We need some reciprocity in the House. They all screamed from the rooftops, you need tariffs. Trump comes in, he has the balls, he launches tariffs, everyone in the entire media completely shits their pants, lose their mind, piss themselves, and then scream and yell like complete retards. How can you take these people seriously when they don't want what's best for the country? They just hate Trump. It's crazy.
Now, I haven't spoken to her, but I would say that if you asked her that question now, she'd say, no, it's their problem. But it's a very unfortunate situation. It's a very unfair situation. And she happened to be right on that. It should be gotten rid of, or it should simply be extended. But that's one of the things that gets taken care of in this bill. That automatically gets extended for a 4-year period, and it should be. But I agree with Elizabeth Warren on that. I think you should get rid of it. It's too catastrophic.
Elizabeth Warren, we should do this. Trump like, you know what? You're right. We should do this. Elizabeth Warren, no, you're ruining the country. Death to democracy.
Yeah, please, go ahead.
To the bills and to international students, I guess you welcome to study in the United States and one question.
To students,
all right.
Well, we want to have great students here. We just don't want students that are causing trouble. We want to have students. I want to have foreign students. I think Harvard, it's close to 31%. That's a lot.
Yep.
Our country's giving
Yup. There's no reason why 31% of Harvard is foreign students when the country is giving Harvard billions of dollars. There's no reason for that shit. Harvard has millions. They can afford their own thing. They don't need to bring in foreign students with different ideologies that are specifically coming into America to ruffle feathers and shit on people. 100%.
$5 billion plus to Harvard over a short period of time. Nobody knew that. We found that out. I wouldn't say
through Doge. How on earth do you not know that billions of dollars are going places? Thank you, Doge.
That was a Doge thing, but we found that out over a period of time. That was sort of a Trump thing. We ended up...
That was a Trump thing that happened. That was great.
Looking for other reasons because they're very anti-Semitic. And in finding out and in going through the books, we found out that the country gave them $5 billion plus, much more than that, actually. And figured out with them, and let's see what happens. I think we have a very good... Well, it's a very sad case. It's a case we win. We can't lose that case because we have the right to make grants. We're not going to make any grants.
Yeah, it's fucking retarded that they even feel like this is a case to be had. So I went over this in my schools video. I did a video recently about schools getting fucked up. And I think it's super important to note that this is a 100% slam dunk Trump is right moment, okay? Literally. The government can decide whether they want to or don't want to just give billions of dollars to people. There's no reason for them to give billions of dollars to Harvard, which is directly pushing shit that is antithetical to the country. They have an entire student campus devoted to glazing terrorists and bringing in Chinese Communist Party members, allegedly, right? Like, dude, stop. Stop with this fucking victim shit. You are not entitled to the government's money.
It's like that. But I don't think Harvard's been acting very nicely. I think Columbia wants to get to the bottom of the problem. They've acted very well. And there are other...
Yeah, now they do. Columbia wants to get to the bottom of the problem because Trump threatened them that he'll remove their funding. And all of a sudden, oh, you're so right. We shouldn't let our students beat up Jews on campus. You're so right. Oh, God, these fucking losers.
Institutions, too. They're acting.
All these institutions.
A big shot. And all that happens is every 3 days we find another $100 million that was given. 2 days ago, we found $200 million more. The money's given to them like gravy. I'd like to see the money go to trade schools.
Based.
Where people learn how to fix motors and engines.
So based.
Where people learn how to build rocket ships. Because, you know, somebody has to build those rocket ships.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see trade schools set up, because you could take $5 billion plus hundreds of billions more, which is what's spent. And you could have the greatest trade school system.
He's literally
anywhere
right.
in the world. And that's what we need to build his rockets and robots and things that he's doing, and to build lots of other things.
He's
and,
completely correct. Trade schools are worth so
in
much more. Dude, who's benefiting the country more? Someone who went to trade school and is now a mechanic or an auto engineer or something like that through a trade school, let's say. Or someone who has a degree in liberal arts and gender tap dancing theory from Nepal, right? Bro, let's be real here. Liberal arts gender tap dancing from Nepal is not going to fucking pay your bills unless you're teaching other people gender tap dancing from Nepal. In that case, it just becomes a fucking pyramid scheme where your entire degree only exists because you're able to pay other people to study that degree. And that's literally the entire bullshit. Trade schools are goated.
They weren't good students, but they could fix the engine of a car better than anybody I've ever seen. They could take it apart blindfolded. They had an ability at that. And they made a lot of money. You know, it's a very skilled job. It's great. But I'd like to see a lot of money going into trade schools. I've always felt that. And we probably found our pot of gold. And
evil Trump be like, we need more money going to lesbian dance theory.
That's what's been wasted at places like Harvard. And the money's been wasted, yeah.
I wanted to ask quickly, Mr. Musk, is your eye okay? What happened to your dry?
Oh, that's all right.
Well, it wasn't. I wasn't anywhere near France.
Oh fuck! Yeah, it wasn't the French Prime Minister's wife. He didn't slap me. All right.
So, but no,
they didn't get his joke. They're fucking retarded.
No,
about the
First Lady of France.
getting slapped, you know.
I didn't know.
So, yeah, no, I was just horsing around with Lil X, and I said,
hey.
Go ahead, punch me in the face, and he did. Turns out even a 5-year-old punching you in the face, actually.
That was X that did it?
Yeah.
X could do it.
X gonna give it to him.
If you knew X,
I was with his mom right now. But I didn't really feel much at the time, and then I guess it bruises up. But I just horsed around with the kids.
I didn't
basically.
notice it, actually.
Oh my god, a father actually being present? This goes against every single leftist ideal. That's crazy. The left is gonna lose it. A father hanging out with his son? Holy shit, he's an enemy. He's an enemy.
I know that you try to stay pretty neutral because not your war, but
And by the way, not my war. I just want
Never would have started if I was president.
to solve the problem for people. This was not a war that was going to happen if I were president.
Literally said the line. I love it.
so not your war. But as you try to fix it, and as you survey this hellscape of the Ukrainian front lines,
It's horrible.
and you and your team deal with a very stubborn Vladimir Putin. Do you
And
look?
Zelensky.
Yeah.
But do you look at this
Very stubborn
conflict
Zelensky, too.
any different?
Let's be clear. Everyone's a retard. All right? I don't want... this is equal opportunity retards.
Now, like, do you look at this and see Putin as the good guy or the bad guy?
I fucking hate these questions so much. Like, it actually pisses me off. Because when you're trying to make a piece... Look, if you ask me, Nux, my opinion, as a completely irrelevant, random fucking piece of shit animated guy on the internet, I'm gonna say I think Putin's the bad... Putin is a bad guy. Alright? I think Putin is a bad guy. Alright? If you were to ask me on the scale of good to bad, and I had to pick one, that's probably what I'd pick. Okay? If you ask me, blue retard on the internet, that's what I'd say. But you have to realize, Donald Trump is trying to make a peace deal between these two countries, all right? These countries that do not like each other, that both don't want to really end the war. Putin wants to keep conquering more land. Zelensky is not willing to end the war unless he gets nukes and takes the land back, which is never going to happen. This shit's not ending, all right? It's not going to end if both of them just keep fucking slamming their heads against the wall. Millions of people are gonna die. Stop and wake up for a second. Trump is trying to make peace between these people. Do you think he'd be able to talk to Putin about making peace if he's on the media being like, Putin, bad guy, he's kind of a Sith Lord, he's a little gay? Like, do you think that would work? Like, that's why the media is so frustrating, because they don't actually want to help anything. They just want to make everyone look bad and everything get worse.
So I've known him very well, and I went through a lot of things with him because...
Sorry for my rant there. I just hate the media, and you should hate the media more. Subscribe for alternative media purposes.
Russia was, you know, the Russia hoax turned out to be a total hoax. New York Times, they got a Pulitzer Prize.
To remind you, they're gay.
That's my lawsuit, and they're doing very poorly in that lawsuit. But you know, they wrote stories about how it was false, and you know, a lot of Washington Post also. I have gotten to see things that I was very surprised at. Rockets being shot into cities like Kiev during a negotiation that I felt was maybe very close to ending. We were going to solve a problem, and then all of a sudden rockets got shot into a couple of cities and people died. I saw things that I was surprised at, and I don't like being surprised. So I'm very disappointed in that way. With that being said, I'd like to see it end. 5,000 people, I think the number's even more than that, but 5,000 people a week are being killed. Fuck. Mostly soldiers, but also people that live in little cities and towns throughout.
Hot take, soldiers dying too is not great either. Hot take.
Ukraine, and I'd like to see that stop.
And I asked Caroline this yesterday, but I want to ask you directly. So many of the things that you're trying to do are held up in court right now. If the courts are going to have so much influence over U.S. policy, do you wish you would have just become a judge instead?
Yeah. Well.
Dude, how do they do this? They all steal my jokes every. He literally asked that question to Caroline Leavitt 2 days ago. He literally just asked that same question. He's really trying to get his mileage off stealing my joke, this fucking guy.
Look, it wasn't meant to be that way. If you look at the founders, the president had certain powers. And
not anymore.
You three groups, and they all had supposed to be pretty equal powers. But you can't have a judge in Boston running foreign policy in places all over the country because he's got a liberal bent or he's a radical left person. That's what the executive branch is for. And you have checks and balances. But we had millions of people pour into our country, many criminals poured into our country, murderers, mental institutions from all over the world.
Dude, I love that every time.
And if we don't get them out and get them out quickly, we're going to lose your country very easily. This is a bad, that anybody would allow this to happen to our country. You know, with all of the things, we took over inflation, we took over some wars, we took over a lot of problems. At least when I was president. We wiped out ISIS. Other than that,
you're right.
We had no wars. Putin was never going to hit Ukraine.
Never would happen if I was president.
Israel would have never been attacked. That attack, as you know, Iran had no money. They didn't have money for Hamas. They didn't have money for Hezbollah. They had.
But don't worry, guys. Don't worry. Don't worry, guys, because Iran funded the fucking Hamas terrorists to do their shit. Let's go.
No money whatsoever. That wasn't going to happen. All of these things that happened weren't going to happen. You wouldn't have had inflation. So it's very sad when I came back, but the thing that is
I tried to stop inflation, and they hit me with 34 felony charges. Just look up Trump Rule 34 for more info.
Hardest is that they allowed 21 million people into our country.
Yeah, for me, it's shocking that they did that. Like, I mean, I know why they did it. Obviously, I know why they did that. The reason why they allowed people into the country. Are you ready for my hot take? You ready for my incredibly based Nuxanor opinion? They tried to steal the fucking country. They removed voter ID so that anyone could vote, essentially, and they let 21 million people illegally into the country. So now these 21 illegal people are going to be able to go in and vote in places with no voter ID, and they're going to fucking own the country forever. And they're going to keep bringing in more and more illegal people into the country to just forever and endlessly outweigh and nullify the voting power of the actual American population. So they could just steal the country forever. Yep. It's easy as that. And the birth rate's shit because of values pushed in a lot of these fucking super far left school systems. And those guys are in there. Yeah. And you know, white people are automatically bad guys according to the far left also. So, I mean, hey, we'll dilute their whiteness, gamers. Let's do that. Like, dude, it's crazy. All the conspiracy theories just come together. I'm not a big white replacement theory guy. I don't personally co-sign that one. But
those people are stone cold criminals. They moved their criminal population into the United States, and of all the things that are bad, I solved inflation, I believe, already. I got the fuel prices down. The fuel prices came down. That's one of the reasons. They screwed up the energy. They screwed up the cost of gasoline and gas. And you had tremendous inflation, the greatest inflation probably in the history of our country under Biden. When people said, "Oh, but the economy was no," the economy was terrible for the people because they couldn't afford.
These people are such idiots. Everyone that says that the economy is worse now than under Biden is literally just they don't touch grass. They don't touch grass. You go to the grocery store and you see the difference. Okay, I don't need the media to tell me the difference when you go to the grocery store and you can afford shit. All right, stop.
The energy. And
then they try to gaslight you. They literally just gaslight you, bro. They try so hard.
Put everything else up. Energy is the big deal. But with all of that, we solved that already. In 4 months, we solved it. $1.99, $1.98 gasoline. First time people have seen that in a long time since my term. But the hardest thing to solve is millions of people pouring into our country, many of whom are criminals. Because remember, these countries...
They're coming from violent places. They send their criminals here.
They're smart. Their leaders are very street smart. They're sending the people that they don't want. They don't want the people that are there, that are law-abiding, that are productive, that are working hard. They want people that are in jails. We have them. They allow them to come in. And I always look
all
at
of the gang members.
Like, why would somebody do something? In business, I try and study, why would they want to do this? Why would they want to sell it? Why would they want to buy it? One thing I can't figure out is what would an administration, what
would they gain?
What were they thinking when they allowed millions of people?
I don't know. I just hit you with my conspiracy theory. I think Trump is, I think Trump has an idea, by the way. I think this is part of the game. The president is not allowed to just say his conspiracy theories out there so everyone could lose their fucking shit. My conspiracy theory is here, that Trump has a theory. All right, I think Trump even thinks the same thing that I think, but I think Trump doesn't want to say it. He just wants to put the question out there so that other people could put it together. I think he's not willing to put his neck on the line for that one, and I respect him.
From prisons all over the world, not just from South.
Like, what do they have to gain by doing all of these suspicious things that work out together to push some sort of fucking crazy agenda?
America, Venezuela, all over the world, from the Congo in Africa.
The Congo.
Hundreds of people, thousands of people from the Congo, rough prisoners from Asia, from Europe, rough parts of Europe.
Rough parts of Europe, like England. That place is a shithole right now.
Why would they allow them to come into our country? Why would they do that? It's the one thing I can't figure out. And I don't believe it was Joe Biden. I really don't.
Biden was a potato. The fucking necromancers bringing Biden to work every day didn't. It wasn't Biden. Don't blame the Biden. Blame the necromancers.
Been a sort of a moderate person over his life.
He was moderate. He was like a sack of flour being eaten by birds.
I'm not a smart person, but a somewhat vicious person, I will say. If you feel sorry for him, don't feel so sorry because he's vicious. What he did with his political opponent and all of the people that he hurt a lot of people.
Oh, right? Shit.
And so I really don't feel sorry for him, but he wasn't a person that would allow
13% of the necromancers signed 50% of the auto pins.
Murderers to come into our country. He wasn't a person that was in favor of transgender for anybody that wanted it, take kids out of families, etc., etc. So I just don't understand why a thing like this, how a thing like this could have been.
The reason why he's talking about this for so long is because he absolutely knows he wants the people to dig into it. He knows that he's the president of the United States. He can't just be whipping out conspiracy theories that are proven wrong. But the people could dig into this shit for sure.
Allowed to happen. Very sad. It's very sad for our country.
He is completely and utterly correct. He's right. He is right. A country needs borders. A country without borders isn't a fucking country. Holy shit.
If I can add something to that, which is, I think the fundamental moral flaw of the left is empathy for the criminals and not empathy for the victims.
Dude's fucking right. It's exactly what I've been saying literally for the last couple of months on YouTube, bro. That's literally the Nux philosophy. Empathy for the cruel is cruelty to the innocent. I've been saying this forever, and it's the entire left. Oh, poor Hamas terrorists, how they suffer at the hands of people trying to kill them. Yeah, fucking idiot. What are you talking about? Holy shit. Oh my god. Elon is absolutely spitting right here. Simple and unbelievable facts. I have been saying this for months.
empathy for the criminals, but not empathy for the victims.
He's right.
And there's
it's like everyone's out there crying, dude, get the fucking guy, the senator guy that went to El Salvador to drink martinis with an MS-13 gang member, human trafficker, wife beater. He went to El Salvador to drink with that guy, but he didn't have a moment to actually talk about the American victims of the MS-13 gang.
There's been way too much of that. That needs to stop. To the president's point, there's been immense judicial overreach that is unconstitutional. That was never intended. And it's undermining the people's faith in the legal system. It needs to stop. It's gone too far.
He's right. He's completely right. He is literally completely correct.
And just today, we had, just a couple of hours ago, we had a great decision from the Supreme Court, thank goodness. That was very important. We had two important decisions yesterday on the tariffs, because again, we have to be able to fight a fair fight with other countries. Howard, would you say? We have to be able to use tariffs to fight people that use tariffs on us. I mean, if we didn't have that power of tariffs, we would economically be destroyed as a country, because they will destroy us. Other countries will destroy us with unchecked tariffs. We can check them when we have the use. They tried to take that power away from us. And if you take that power away, we're not going to have a country. We won't have an economically viable country. But it's very important on immigration that we be able to get people out without having to go through a long court case. I mean, it was up to some of these judges. Every single one of these millions of people, criminals, prisoners that were let go from jails because they save a fortune when they did. They brought them into the United States. You know what they're saving? The money they're saving? But some of murderers, it's very important that we're able to get those people out of here.
He's right.
Bring them back to their
this is like, it's obvious. It's literally obvious. A child could tell you this. If you have a country, should you have borders, or should you let other countries send their criminals into the country and not punish the criminals, but instead just punish your citizens by letting them need to live with the criminals? Like, what is fucking happening? And for the record, I know a lot of people criticize me for not having enough empathy. I think that your empathy might be misplaced. For real. If someone breaks into the country illegally, get them out of the country. They are not allowed to be in this country. They should leave. Breaking into the country is against the law. What's the punishment to breaking that law? In my opinion, it's kicking them the fuck out of the country. Sorry.
They belong. And those countries take them, because if they don't take them, they have to go through the wrath of the United States, and they take them. But we have judges that don't want that to happen. And it's a terrible thing.
Again, the judges are playing politics. They are literally playing politics. They don't actually give a shit about the people. And it's so obvious. Like, when you look at what the left is doing to the country versus what the right is doing to the country, if your conclusion is the right are vicious to the people, then you're probably a retard. I don't want to be rude, but just look at the facts that came out over the last couple of months. And it is insanity.
That's going through the court system right now, that whole situation. But when ICE and with Border Patrol, they've done an incredible job. When they do this incredible job and they capture 100 killers and drug dealers, and we can't keep them for years here as we go through trials. We have to get them out rapidly, and we know who they are. And we're very careful about it.
Please fucking get them, bro. Blast them. Put their names on the public. Destroy them, please.
Who they are, but we have to get them out rapidly, or again, we're not going to have a country. Maybe one or two more. Go ahead.
That tariffs may also affect companies like Tesla, which has cars manufactured abroad, and this is also.
Well, he's going to end up building his whole car here. I mean, I thought he built his whole car. Pretty much he does. He's got incredible factories like I looked at one in Texas. It's unbelievable. No, all of the manufacturers will build their parts here too. I mean, it used to bother me. They make a part in Canada, a part in Mexico, a part in Europe, and sent all over the place, and nobody knew what the hell was happening. I think you build a car, make it in America, and I gave them a little leeway on that. Give them some leeway. But over the next year, they've got to have the whole thing built in America. That's what we want America to buy American-built cars. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Wow, a president that's pro-America? That's crazy. I haven't seen that since Donald Trump 45. Thanks so much for being here. Hope you enjoyed. This is the big goodbye moment. So, farewell, my brothers. Thanks for being here. Take it easy, Elon. I hope you're well. Hope you're doing healthily out there, Mr. Elon. Best of luck to you on your future ventures. Please destroy Twitch's streaming economy. That would be very funny for me personally. So I'll see you in the next one, gamers. And remember to subscribe for the only media outlet, Nuxanor. Blue Jew news. We'll see you in the next one. Bye! Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fan.